I once overheard my neighbors next door have an argument about whether Taco Bell was real Mexican food. They went at it for a good 2 hours, and that's when I finally had to go inside. I don't think they resolved anything either. Americans are funny. I went on a family trip to SC and my stepdad had the idea of going to the NASCAR theme park there. My stepdad is very Italian and has darker skin. While we were waiting in line to get on one of the tracks, there were these two park employees chatting everyone up. They came up to us and started asking questions like, "How's your day going? Enjoying the sun?" Then they asked, "Where are y'all from?" We replied, "Canada." The one guy who's still paying attention said, "Skin's a bit dark to be from Canada." My stepdad told him that he's Italian, but he's a Canadian citizen. The one employee looked at the other employee and said, "Did you know that there's Italians in Canada?" I nearly threw up. I was laughing so hard. I'm betting these are the same people who think all Canadians live in igloos. We were at the Italian restaurant, and a woman absolutely berated our waiter for her pasta sauce being red. The menu clearly stated there were tomatoes in the sauce, but she thought that was different from it being tomato sauce. She wasn't expecting red sauce and made a huge loud deal, got the manager, etc. I worked at Epcot Soarin' with its 40-inch height minimum safety rule for riders. I had parents put frozen Mickey ice cream bars in their 6-year-old's shoes to make her tall enough to ride. She was jumping to keep her weight off her feet. When I asked her what was wrong, she cried because the ice cream was hurting her feet. Went to go get my exhaust fixed. No big deal, pothole, poked a hole in it. When I went to go pick up the car a couple hours later, I am treated to a woman screaming at the guy behind the counter. She's positively foaming because she has been waiting nearly 30 minutes for her car to be fixed. She even goes so far as to call the guy an insignificant, lazy immigrant. Guy looks at her, looks at me, throws me my keys. "Here you go. Your Magnum's ready, no charge." Looks her directly in the eyes. "Looks like it's going to be more expensive than we originally thought. Would you like us to call you a cab?" I returned shortly afterwards with a pizza for the shop. There were two neighbor girls, probably age 8 or 9, walking down the sidewalk one day as I was taking out my trash. I managed to overhear, Girl 1: "So, have you ever seen a hamster in the wild?" Girl 2: "No." Girl 1: "No, 'cause the government made them to spy on us." Several years ago, I was at a Chinese buffet and the 3 people next to me were questioning the waitress, she appeared to be Asian Hispanic, about voting for the president and who she planned to vote for. She said that she could not vote. They immediately began taunting her that she shouldn't be here if she couldn't vote, that she didn't even know who the President of the United States is, and then took a picture and said they would post it online. I later found out the waitress was on a school visa and couldn't vote. After the waitress walked off, one of the girls at the table, the one who took the pic, looked up and asked me where I worked because I looked familiar. When I replied the local university in the social work department, she commented that she had recently been in my office to apply to our program, to which I replied, "Yes, I remember you, and I'm also on the admissions committee," followed with a wink. The color drained from her face and she knew she was screwed. Karma's a bitch. We were going through security, and a bunch of people just in front of us were told they weren't allowed to take their bottles of spirits through. They then just drank about 3 bottles of spirits there and then, as they didn't want to throw them away. My mom witnessed this on our family trip a few weeks back. A parent had his 2 kids at the hotel pool. She guessed the kids were approximately 2 and 6 years old. He was clothed on the side of the pool and let his kids go in. The 2-year-old went under and didn't come back up, and the dad just stood there watching his kid drown. The lifeguard starts blowing the whistle, jumps in fully clothed, and pulls the kid out, saving their life. The dad proceeded to yell at the 6-year-old for not saving their sibling. He made them get out and leave. I saw an elderly woman yell at a teenage worker for serving her a banana nut muffin, which she ordered, with bananas and nuts in it because the poor girl should have somehow known she was allergic. It was at one of the cafes inside a resort. I was crossing in front of a car when it started to inch slowly towards me. I started walking double time to get out of the way of the crazy driver when the lady in the passenger seat rolled down her window and yelled at me for not using a crosswalk. We were in the middle of a parking lot. When I was in college, There was a dude in the unit across the courtyard from us who would walk around naked a lot. He never closed his blinds, so it's not like we were snooping. But there he was, day after day, with his junk out. Then, one day a friend came over when the dude was walking around, doing his thing. To her horror, she recognized him as one of her teaching assistants. We've started closing our blinds ever since. I shut down the one and only elevator in a building to make a quick 5-minute repair. Moments later, a lady comes downstairs raising hell about the fire hazard I'm creating by shutting the elevator down. She begins to explain to me that I'm basically leaving everyone in the building at risk of burning alive with no elevator. All I could think to myself is this woman is going to be the one and only person waiting at the elevator during a fire, inevitably killing herself. So just in case you work in a building and didn't know, the elevator is programmed to return to the first floor during a fire, open the doors, and then close them. Some operate a little different, but for the most part, the elevators are inaccessible during a fire emergency. I was talking to a neighbor about our kids in school and how they were getting to the age when they needed to think about future careers. I said that my son loved math class and wanted to do something in that field. Neighbor: "Oh, so maybe he'll be a math magician." Math magician. I didn't have the heart to tell her that she probably meant mathematician and just nodded along while picturing my son pulling quadratic equations out of a hat. Had someone got offended by me calling my brother bro? They insisted that white people can't be related to Mexicans. Like, seriously, lady, that's not how genetics work. We are 100% related and are a mix of white and Native American. It's not that unheard of for one biological sibling to come out lighter or darker than the other. When I was a kid, I saw a guy in church lick the entire cover of his hymn book, bottom to top, in one long stroke. I was maybe 10, and he was easily 40. It still haunts me to this day. 4 years ago, I was sitting in an airport in France, watching people grab their bags off the conveyor belt as I waited for my parents. One extremely attractive family got all of their suitcases and then gathered around the mother. The mother silently took a small package out of her bag, ripped it open, and proceeded to distribute fake mustaches to her husband, son, and daughter. All 4 of them stuck the mustaches on their faces, grinned at each other conspiratorially, and then walked out of the airport as if nothing happened. Not a single word was exchanged the entire time. It was amazing. I was working a retail job and noticed this young lady with her mother trying to open one of the wigs we had on sale. So I go over and tell her she can't open it until it is purchased. Just a policy we had on wigs. The mother got upset and said, "She just wants to smell it. We will buy it." Then she went on to explain, her daughter has to smell every new thing she gets.